just do a quick overview of who we are, and then Denny's going to talk a little bit more specifically about DAS and what that means. So first of all, IntelliData, we are a data analytics company. We have clients nationwide. We've been around for about 6.5 years. We were founded in the fall of 2014. Denny Langkong is the founder and president of the company, and we focus on associations and nonprofit organizations. So who do we work with? I won't take the time to point all these out, but we work with a lot of associations like the Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association, the Infusion Nurses Society, the Society for Neuroscience, the Minnesota Medical Association, and the American Society for Quality. So a lot of different kinds of industries, different size organizations that we count and are proud to have as our clients. So there are a number of different areas that we do work with. Again, I won't take the time to read all the bullet points here, but we work with data conversions and data cleanup. We also do any kinds of data profiling. We also have training that we provide for business objects. We work with Tableau and Power BI. Basically, when it comes to data, we should be the first company you think of. We can help you get more out of it to be able to make more meaningful decisions. So one question I have for you that I'd love to have you respond to in the chat is, what are the analytics tools or reporting tools that you're using currently in your association? So just reply in the chat if you would on that. And then some of the AMS and CRM systems that we work with, again, this is a current list. We could certainly work with others, but companies like Personify, Aptify, we work with the Salesforce platforms and the Microsoft CRM platforms, and some of the companies that specialize in those. So anyway, a number of different systems that we have experience with, and always looking to take on clients that have other systems they work with. So again, a lot of information here. I'm actually going to put a couple links in the chat relative to this slide, but basically, just so you know, one of the big areas that we focus on is data analytics, so that you can have better data, better decision-making opportunities, that sort of thing. And then Constituent Insights is our data warehouse product. We have 12 different dashboards that come out right out of the box, and we can also do custom development on that as well. And then IntelliSight is a newer product for us. It's predictive analytics. So basically, it helps you look at your membership, come up with trends, and figure out what's going to happen in the future with membership, with attendance at conferences once we're able to have those again, and even the virtual conferences as well, and where you're getting other things like products or services and where you should be putting those resources. So like I said, once I turn it over to Denny, I'll put a couple of links relative to those bullet points up. So again, I won't take the time to read these, but these are quotes, testimonials from our clients that really just focus on the fact that we came in, helped them solve their challenges, helped them sort through what they had in front of them, and the level at which they would recommend IntelliData. And just before I turn over to Denny, I just want to point out what some of the responses are. People are using Crystal Reports, Google Analytics, Power BI, so a lot of different things out there that people are taking advantage of. So good to hear. Excel, SQL reporting services, good. Okay, good. So I think, Denny, I'm going to turn over to you now to take us into the second half and explain to us what DAS is.
All right. Thank you, Jay. And first of all, I want to echo what Jay said. I want to thank Sherry and Kevin for giving us the opportunity to present today. So being a data analytics company, the most common questions that we get asked is, why do you analyze your data, right? And as you can see, to summarize it, you want to analyze your data to recognize and validate. We know what we know what we don't know, we don't know what we know, and we don't know what we don't know. And actually, the last sentence is probably the most true for when we get engaged with clients. The last bullet point is probably the most important, because a lot of times you don't know what you don't know, and then you don't know until you start digging into your data and find out what you have, right? And in IntelliData, we believe that a set of data is a fact, but the multiple sets of data are information. So that's yep. So while analyzing your data, there's always challenges when you start analyzing your data, and then we can have a separate discussion. I can talk all day about challenges about analyzing data, but we group these challenges into three different groups here. Again, this is just a few challenges, and there are a lot more. But again, the first challenge is multiple data sources. And feel free to put in the chat if this applies to you guys as well. And you don't have to admit it, but the 90% of the association out there have this problem. So if you think you're the only one, you're not. So multiple data sources. When in addition to your MS, you have your CMS, you have your LMS, you have your Google Analytics, like people say, you have your community platform. So when you see those kind of data, different kind of data, how do you put them together and make sense out of your data, right? And then there's also structured and unstructured data, and I won't get into detail with that, but how do you deal with those? And also this is very common that the membership department has their own Excel, the marketing department has their own whatever Excel or Access or whatever form that they have, and they keep their own information. And this is when you see silos across departments, right? And then so when you ask what's your member count, you get different answers depending on who you ask for. And then also the second group is the insight difficulties. Just because the data is there and the data is there, but a lot of challenges that we see is how do you make sense out of your data? How do you just because your active member count, it doesn't mean anything unless you put it in context, right? And the second way is once you get, so for some of the associations out there that are more advanced and they start getting into analytics and start looking into their data, how do they, how do you share it with your colleagues, with your bosses, with the decision makers? As a matter of fact, based on there's a survey that HubSpot did, maybe I think last year, there's only 5% of association executive that makes decision based on their data, which is very, very low. And this, what we're here to help, right? And last but not least is the resource limitation. And this is very common also as well. People think as data analytics is expensive. It's a nice to have. We don't have to have it. We don't. We have to put in a capital budget. We'll do it next year. And then when it comes next year, you say, well, we'll postpone a little later, or we get there when we need it, right? But again, making a business decision based on data is we think is important enough. So again, so those are the common challenges. Now, with those challenges, we come out with our DaaS, with data analytics as a service, right? So again, I'll show you what it is later in the presentation, but I want to go over a little more detail about benefit of DaaS. The number one benefit of DaaS is the lower cost. As everything, especially now with COVID, everybody's very familiar with the subscription base, right? There's Netflix, there's Hulu, there's Disney Plus and all that stuff. It's the same thing as with those. DaaS is a subscription base, so it goes with the subscription base. What what your expenses is. You know what you're gonna spend. You don't need any expertise in house because we take care of those, right? And you don't need any. You don't need to hire a data scientist, or you don't need to hire a data expert in your house. We will take care of those. All you need to do is tell us what you'd like to see in your subscription, or in your dashboard, basically. The second benefit is cross compatibility. Well, it's a mouthful, but since our DaaS is a web base, you can use your phone, you can use your tablet, you can use PC, you can use all of them to access your dashboard, to access your information, right? And doesn't matter whether you have Windows, Mac, doesn't matter what system you have, as long as you have a as long as you have browser and internet access, you can access your DAS, right? By the way, I like the Kevin's in the chat. Kevin said data is equal IP equal money equal $sign. All right. So by the way, the third benefit of DAS is ready-made architecture. As you know, back, as you guys, I don't know if you guys remember, back in the days when there's no Office 365, you have your server in place, and then you have to keep updating it. You have to make sure everything's updated. You have to make sure if something breaks, then you got to deal with that. But when things move to Office 365, right, everything is on cloud. You don't have to worry about it. As a matter of fact, we use all Office product as well, so we it's been a lifesaver for us. So same thing with our DAS. We take care of the architecture. You don't have to worry about what server you need, what specification you need, and all that stuff. And it's also scalable. We sell our DAS product as a subscription based per module, so you can subscribe to just membership, or you can subscribe to, again, we'll deal with that in a little later, but you can subscribe just to membership, or membership and meetings and certification and all that stuff, or you can subscribe to all those modules, and you can scale up or scale down, depends on what you need, and you just have to tell us, and it's done in a click of a button, with the click of a button. It's that simple, so you don't have to worry about any architecture. Same thing with that architecture, again, tied to that, and you don't have to worry about updates. When, as a matter of fact, Power BI does a lot of updates. I think they do at least once a month, if not more often. When we started with Power BI, they used to do it every 6 weeks. They would come up with the new updates. But with having a DAS, you don't have to worry about the software updates. You don't have to worry about, hey, what version am I on now? Do I need to update? Do I need to upgrade? What do I need to do? We take care of everything. You guys don't have, there's no need to worry about the updates. And with that, you don't have to worry about the compatibility issues. Again, I don't know if you guys can relate to this. When you do an upgrade or when you do an update, sometimes it's not compatible with some of your software. It's not compatible with something in your system, right? You don't have to worry about this. It's a web-based. We take care of the updates. We take care of the upgrades. There's no worry about compatibility issue. The last benefit of having a DAS is portability and accessibility. As again, since it's a web-based it's a web-based product. We have, and by the way, I think Dwayne was asking if the data is stored in IntelliData server. Yes, it is. So this is basically what it is. So the portability and accessibility, it's again, since it's a web-based, as long as you have a web browser and internet access, you can access that. So if you change computer, if you're with an associate and your company is doing an upgrade on a computer, going from, Windows back in the days, so Windows 98 to Windows 2000, and then going back to, now it's, when you change computer or system, basically, it doesn't matter as long as you have your browser, right? That you don't have to worry about that. And again, it's a cloud-based storage, so we, as with, again, everybody's familiar with the cloud-based storage. Everybody, as we can take as much data as you want, but but if you need to adjust what kind of data you need, again, you just have to let us know. You don't have to worry about it, and we'll take care of that. So I think I have a few more minutes here, but let me show you what we have here. So what does our DAS look like? So it's a very simple. We try to simplify. Again, there's a lot of tools out there that could, that can intimidate users, right? When they log in and they see a lot of stuff and they don't know what to, where to start. We try to eliminate that. We're trying to minimize our design. So basically, once you get in, you log in. You just log in with the login that we provide, and the login will dictate what dashboard or dashboards and what access you have. So for example, you can have 5 users, and one user can have all the admin view, for example, and he or she can see all the dashboards. And let's say if you have a new hire that you don't want to see some sensitive information, for example, like some financial information and things like that, you can limit that login just to be able to see a certain dashboard or certain information. So we could control that as well, and that depends on the login. So when you log in, so for example, this is one login that when you log in, this user has access to all these all these dashboards, right? You have all these modules. You have your membership, meetings, fundraising, certification, and we have the custom module. So basically anything that don't belong to or doesn't belong to any of this module will go into the custom. And also you can build. We have pre-built dashboards for each module, but if you want to build a custom membership, for example, if you have a certain dashboard that you want to see for your membership, we could put that in the membership, under the membership banner as well, under the membership group. So users can access their dashboard by clicking on the navigation bar on the left, or clicking on the gray icon on the bottom as well. All right, and once you click on, for example, I'm clicking on the membership here, you see all your dashboards. For example, this is this is a membership count, and looking at trend year by year comparison, and it's broken down by age, by region, and all that stuff. You can see, and this is one of our sample dashboard that looking at termination reason, and and then I don't know if you guys can see, but the biggest reason here is because there's no pay. So this is some sample of our dashboards, and if you log in, for example, this is another example of someone logging in with a different login. You will see that you have your this user can see membership, meetings, and custom, right? And then when you look at that, there's sample reports here, sample dashboards here that belong to these users. And I think, Sherry, how much time do I have?
About a minute.
Okay, sorry. All right,
almost out of time. Yeah.
All right, cool. So thank you. So we'll I was going to show you what this custom dashboard that we did. This is what we did. So the sample dashboard that we did here is a COVID-based dashboard that we get the data from Johns Hopkins University. So we get data feed on a daily basis, and it feeds our cases, total case, and mortality case, and all that stuff. But what I want to show you is what we did is we look at the CDC. We took a CDC prediction. We look at the actual numbers, and we also leverage our AI capabilities within our dashboard to look at our to predict what it is. So the red is the red line is the CDC number, the light blue is the actual number, and the dark blue is our prediction. So what we find out is our number is actually more accurate than it's more accurate than the CDC prediction. So again, I just want to show you that's part of the features that we can leverage within our dashboard, and then we can apply this to to membership and meetings and stuff like that. So with that, I guess if you have any questions, feel free to ask us on the chat, or ask Sherry, or
Yeah, and just so the participants know that the speakers have access to see the Q&A. So if you have questions as we go along the day, you can ask them there as well, and they can answer that. And Denny, I think because I'm going to try to stay on time today. Yep. We were a little over yesterday, so I appreciate the presentation. And since there's nobody sent in any questions, we are going to move to Adage.
That's fine. Thank you.
All right. Thanks so much, Denny.
Thank you.
So hi, Jake. Hi, Joe.
Hi, Sherry.
So we're looking forward to your presentation on the experiencing the before and after of 3 associations digital projects. So I'll take it away.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Sherry and Kevin, for inviting us to Solutions in Action for the 2nd year, and just for being a great partner in general. To get started here, my name is Jake Toohey. I'm a senior digital consultant with Adage. I've been at Adage for 9.5 years working with our association clients.
And I'm Joe Post, Vice President of Strategy and Design at Adage. I lead our visioning, branding, and user experience design efforts.
So if you would like to connect with us on LinkedIn, you can use the QR code. There will be another section in the presentation where you'll be able to do that as well. But who are we? We are a full service digital agency in Chicago. Some of our services that you're probably familiar with, you might think of us as technology. It's in our name, right? But we'd like to demo some of our work that highlights more of the branding, UX, and UI that we've delivered for our clients, because we'd like to help anybody that has a rebrand, brand refresh, website design, CMS project on their roadmap. So we're talking about some of the world-class websites that Joe and his team have designed. So for some of the most notable associations and nonprofits in the world, and we're going to walk through a couple examples that we've done some of the web design for, and give you a little taste before we highlight the 3 associations. So the first we're going to talk about is Chicago Public Schools, 3rd largest school district in the United States. We just launched that website this year. The Kennedy Center in DC, the National Cultural Center in America. Main Street Organization of Realtors, just an association in Chicago and the suburbs. Athletes for Justice is the next one. It's a startup foundation founded by Sam Acho of the Chicago Bears, which we were happy to work on. And then the Metropolitan Opera, which you've probably heard of, is the largest classical music organization in the country.
And the Met Museum, famous for their gala. The American Museum of Natural History, another fantastic venue if you ever have a chance to visit. The Monterey Bay Aquarium out in Monterey, California, and their sister organization, the Monterey Bay Aquarium Seafood Watch. If you ever wondered if the seafood you were ordering was sustainably caught, that's a place to check. And San Francisco Jazz, another arts venue out of San Francisco. They put on a lot of great shows. And finally, the National Council of Real Estate Investment Fiduciaries, they're Chicago-based, handling a lot of proprietary data for their members.
So the first example that we're going to walk through is OrthoInfo, which is really the WebMD for the orthopedics industry. And they were in need of a new website, new brand, new design, pretty much everything.
And when we approach design, we like to start by taking a look at the kind of the environment, right? And we took a look at all the different types of logos that were in the similar category. And we really wanted to design something for OrthoInfo that would really differentiate them. And in our digital first branding practice, this is pretty standard for us to take a look. But what we came up with for them in terms of their brand mark was this really fun system that included both a logo mark and a logo text that works across devices and is really digital first. So it can scale as small as 16 pixels all the way up to the full size on desktop and banner ads and so on. And we also defined all of the style guide to keep it reined in and on point. This allows us to use the branding, not only the logo, but also as a navigational marker. So we're using the color, and you'll see the logo actually changes color as you navigate to different sections of the site. And the little element inside of it that looks like a little blood platelet also changes and moves and is animated. And that's the sort of digital first branding that we're passionate about at Adage. We also really think the user experience is part of the brand experience. And here we're showing quite a lot of rich media blocks and embedded media that really helps bring the brand to life. So we created for them a brand system, dynamic navigation, faceted search, and rich media blocks. And here's the after.
So the next example is the American Academy of Pediatric Dentistry. And when we got involved in AAPD's website brand refresh and website redesign, they had a dated site, a lot of information and resources that were pretty tough to find.
So again, here we start with a digital mood board. We look at best-in-class designs that really inform our design choices. Our goal is for brands that really can translate digitally and be best in class. So we always take a look at what's out there and we use that to inform our choices. But in some cases, like with AAPD, the logo really wasn't going to be changed. So their logo was not something that we were going to redesign, but we took on just about everything else. It's kind of an evolution of the brand and an enhancement for digital. Starting with type, we chose really strong typesetting, bold choices with the type and the color. And this really helped us enhance the brand. So you see the color palette here, again, with accessibility in mind, all the color contrast works there. But really, at the end of the day, it's approachable, it's simple, it's modern, casual, and colorful. And what we like to think of is that brand is really the sum of all the experiences. When most people think about branding, they're really considering just the top of the iceberg here, where it's the visual design. That's what most people think a brand is, but we consider the brand to be all the things below the waterline. So interaction design, user experience, information architecture, conceptual design, the user journey.
So we're highlighting user experience, and of course we focus on visually engaging as well, but we needed to address poor UX and content and resource findability. So the Find a Pediatric Dentist feature was a big focus. It's right at the top of the page. It's also important that it works. So things like filtering for dentists in a certain radius or zip code, advanced options like searching by name or city. And another thing was building out a My Account section for members. It's a kind of a one-stop shop where they can find out and update information like their credentials or meetings they attended. And then we use that member information for personalization and the strategy that goes with personalization, showing people content based on their activities or their wants. So to round this out, we talked about a brand refresh, not a full rebrand, UX design, Find a Pediatric Dentist, and personalization. And there is the end product. The next example is the American Massage Therapy Association. When we, in addition to needing an update and a brand and overall website, they were dealing with a common problem that we see with many of our association clients, and that the architecture reflected the org chart, right? So we need to create a new information architecture design. We need to put the information that the user wants in front of their eyes. And then for brand refresh, creating consistent branding across all assets. So we delivered them an HTML, CSS guide, new typeface, refreshed their digital style guide. And then there's things to consider like imagery. So you have photography and assets that should be used in some places, but then maybe educational imagery that are more appropriate in other sections. And in reviewing their analytics, we found that the majority of users were using their site on mobile devices, but the problem was the conversion rate was the lowest there.
So at Adage, we really focused user experience design to be mobile first, both as a kind of way of thinking, but also as an approach. So we quite literally will start with mobile designs and really think about progressive enhancement to desktop. That really ensures that the mobile experience, which is increasingly the major touch point for a website, is really refined and frictionless.
So we're talking about mobile first design. I think I'm going to skip here. There we go. There's also a heavy focus on the user and the user experience. So designing and architecting the experience so that member benefits were more pronounced, simplifying and segmenting benefits for professionals, for students, and for schools. So with AMTA, we talked about information architecture, style guide updates, finding a massage therapist, massage therapy school, a mentor, and then highlighting member benefits as the main overview from that website rebuild. And here is the after design. So you're probably noticing a theme, and that on-site search is critical to associations and their members' ability to find content. We find that 90% of website interactions start with the search box. So I saw this the other day in an article. I thought it was funny, but it also applies to challenges so many associations face, particularly medical and healthcare organizations, that the credible information that you put out there is not being found. And what we did, we created an Adage search. It's a little tough to demo because it's mostly back-end features, but we developed an accelerator so that we could deploy best practice features with lower costs instead of building from scratch every time. And then on top of that, you can use the money that you didn't spend there for some more customized features. But at the end of the day, it's guaranteed results, baseline features that have already been established, reduces costs, it's tested, it's QA'd, and it accelerates time to market. Because it helps you get to federated search. And that's to develop a search platform that pulls in results from all of your platforms. And the goal should be to get the results in one search box and interface. It takes a lot of time, it's expensive, but you can reduce costs with this product, and we would love to talk to you about it. So to wrap up, we are offering a complimentary site assessment. Joe, if you wouldn't mind dropping that in the chat.
Done that, Jake.
Great. You can also just screenshot this. You can use the QR code. We're big on QR codes, I guess. But we would love to talk to you. It usually takes about 30 minutes. Here's our contact information again. We would love to talk to anybody as it comes to websites, redesigning, rebranding, just building out new sites and features. So with that, we are at questions.
Jake and Joe, that was great. Some great work you guys have done. If anybody has any questions, please put them in the Q&A. But what I have a question, Jake, is sure. I get and I just had a call again today of somebody who is in a process of a brand strategy with a company, and then they're hiring a web vendor separately and trying to kind of shoehorn the project in. I guess, what is your advice to associations? Because I'm sure you see this all the time where they, where, and the approach is very different than kind of the digital first approach, which of course I support 110% is really the way to go. But kind of what's your thoughts around that?
Yeah, I mean, that's something we see quite a bit. We like to be involved as much as we can. This is Joe's area of expertise, but yeah, when you're doing any rebranding, you want to keep the website in mind. I'll let Joe expand on that a little bit.
Yeah, so that's a pretty typical thing. We'll see it commonly, and we're happy to work that way as well. But when we have the opportunity, I think there's definitely some synergies, if you will, in having it all happen with a single partner. Especially at Adage, where we really focus on creating a strong vision and establishing good strategy up front for any digital project. There's a lot of overlapping concepts in brand strategy and digital strategy. And when you combine those things, it gives you opportunities like with OrthoInfo, right? Where we were able to take not just a typical logo redesign, but we translated that into a full system that could be applied to their website. And it really does enhance the experience of the brand. And it carries it forward in a way that's much more kind of fluid, right? It lets you leverage more aspects of the look and feel and the system. So we're using it as a navigational item, and it's also more flexible, right? Where the logo actually can move and be animated, and it allows the branding to work in things that some traditional branding firms don't consider as much, right? Like PowerPoint or video or banner ads where it's animated. That's really the key parts of a digital first brand, is that it really works well on screen as well as it would on a t-shirt or a billboard.
Right. Yeah. Well, great. And one last question. Somebody asked, do you have any small staff association clients?
Yes.
Yeah, a few of the ones that we showed there. Actually, OrthoInfo was a very small staff. The key stakeholders there were really about 3 people. So they're under a larger umbrella, but that part of it kind of operates as its own thing. And the NACREEF organization also is not a very large organization as far as
they're only about
association.
11 or 12 people, I believe. So yes, we work with large associations, but we definitely work with small associations as well. So we're happy to talk to just about anybody.
Great, thanks. And Jay's asked if you can show your contact information again.
Sure can.
We'll put that up. And then as we transition to Dawn at Planstone. So thanks so much, Jake and Joe, and appreciate it. Great presentation.
Thanks everybody.
Us.
All right, Dawn. So Dawn's going to talk to us about solving client issues and saving time with automation, understanding, and knowledge. So I will let you take it from here. Thanks, Dawn.
Do you see my screen?
Yes, I do. Yep.
One that says with the logo? Okay.
Yep.
Good.
Very good.
Not my email or anything.
No.
Okay, so you just had a really snazzy presentation. So, please get your expectations down a little bit. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to answering your questions at the end of the presentation. My name is Dawn Sukup, and together with my husband, Dan, we own the Planstone Group. We have worked very hard, not always successfully, but always a learning experience, to create a company and a product that I would have wanted to work with and use when I was an education manager. My goal today is to give you a quick overview of the company and to explain why you should choose Planstone as your education partner. Here at Planstone, we offer many modules and services, but they all center around submission management, speaker management, and attendee management. Why should you choose us over one of our competitors? There are many good options out there. All of them could do the job you need them to do. So why us? Why are we better? Well, I believe it is our approach and how we do business. We learn your process, we make it better, and we configure the software to save you time. We teach, we listen, we advise, and we work with you. We are part of your team, and we save you time. We have the discussions that make you think and grow. Delivery of content is changing, or more like expanding these days. So it only makes sense that the collection of content change as well. What does that look like for your organization? Well, your team at Planstone not only wants to have these conversations, we also want to discover the best ways to make it happen for your organization. It's never business as usual. Our clients are 90% medical associations and scientific associations. They have always been and probably will continue to be. Our software is highly configurable and can be overkill for associations not in the medical or scientific industries. We listen. We designed our modules with our clients, and we continue to update daily based on feedback and needs. If our clients start asking for reporting not covered in our standard reporting, we look into it, and many times upgrade our standard reporting to include. Our disclosure management system stays updated based on ACCME. We are currently working with all of our clients to make sure they are updating their disclosure forms to satisfy the new guidelines. If a client doesn't tell us to update their forms this year, we ask them for the updated changes. Our clients will say they need a form designed a certain way, and we'll ask why, and then figure out the best way to capture the data they need. We always ask the following: where does this data need to end up? In a report? Let us see the report to make sure you are asking for the data so that it satisfies your reporting. Does the data need to end up in our API to be pulled by all your vendors? Does it need to be sent back to your membership system? There are so many questions, and each one is an important part of the solution. We are your partner, part of your team. I can't stress that enough. You may do 2 abstract calls per year, maybe a grant call, but we do hundreds each year. Our knowledge is shared with your team. Because we're always talking with our clients, we learn too. This knowledge is then passed on to you. We have a staff meeting every day at 10 a.m. where we share client ideas and discuss with IT if necessary. This is how our modules evolve. We don't have releases like other companies. We evolve each and every day. We work with you every step of the way. Other things we do as part of your team: we manage the project in Basecamp, timeline it, keep it moving along. We train you and your staff throughout the process. We are there to answer questions. We encourage standing bi-weekly or weekly calls so that we are on track and moving forward. We are experienced. This is what we do each and every day and have been doing for many years. You will benefit from our knowledge, and our company will benefit from partnering with you. You will make us better. This is something we know to be very true. Key to our success is our account managers. You will have a dedicated account manager here at Planstone. She will work with you as part of your team, learn your process, document your process, and offer advice as well as best practice ideas. She will bring in IT to consult and advise. Our IT team is a wealth of knowledge. Jennifer Richardson has seen it all and is always there for a consult or a guiding hand. I always say that Bob Florian is easy. He'll integrate with anyone. And, kind of does. Bob's knowledge in our industry is second to none. Bob and his team are an excellent support for your IT department. My husband, Dan Sukup, originally wrote the software and continues to move us forward. His artistic ability makes sure the user-facing screens stay clean and professional. At the beginning of COVID, he overnight created exhibitor management and a virtual exhibit hall complementary to our clients, one that is pleasing to the eye and gets the attendee to where they need to be in 2 clicks. For many associations, this is where it all begins: content collection. Our submission management system can be used to collect and then to review or grade anything. Mostly it is used for calls for abstracts, proposals, grants, and awards. As your organization moves from annual meeting-centric education to a combination of year-round education, hybrid meetings, and live meetings, the way your organization collects the content needs to be rethought as well. A growing percentage of our clients collect a fee in exchange for the opportunity to submit a proposal or an abstract. As you look at hybrid meetings and the costs associated with producing such an event, receiving added income from abstract submissions is one way to satisfy the budget. It also removes redundancy in your content or content that really isn't at the level you need your meeting or year-round offering. If your organization continues to ask for content, as they always have, then your organization will continue to receive the same content that they always have. You must first think outside the box and guide your organization. As you and I both know, a submission form only needs to collect the following information. Information needed by reviewers to make their decision. Information needed to create the content delivery. Everything else is a waste of everyone's time. We help you get there. We know the questions to ask, and we know how to best design your forms to give you the data you need in the way you need to receive it. We can also help you with those tough conversations that usually center around just because it has always been done a certain way doesn't mean it should continue to be accomplished in this manner in the future. Many times it's the in-the-weeds committee or board member that holds an organization back. Or sometimes it's someone that has been in their position for quite some time and is not interested in evolving anymore. We can assist you with both of these situations and many others so that you can keep moving your organization forward. Our software provides your submitters, reviewers, and speakers with a clean, professional interface. It is so very important to the entire process. I do not believe any of our competition has the advanced attachment capabilities that we offer. Whether you ask the submitter to upload a graph, a video, a PowerPoint, or an image, or even a combination of all of them, the image of the upload becomes part of the submission in our system on the reviewer's screen. It's huge in helping your reviewers, and we always want to help reviewers. Because we are the only company to truly specialize in medical and scientific association education, we have what you need. You've pretty much seen it all. Our review system is quite advanced. We offer multiple levels of review. I created some Loom videos demonstrating the extra features our review system has available to you. My plan, because we just joined the .org community, is to get them up on our Solution Center site. So, you know, that's my push. Here it's just briefly a page where you can manage all of your reviewers that are reviewing your abstracts, proposals, whatnot. And you can see it's really easy. You can email them from here with templates or with individually. You can see they've been assigned this many, this is how many they've completed, and here is the percentage they're at. So that's always helpful. Speaker management can save 50% of your time and offer your speakers a friction-free professional experience. I can guarantee that no one else has the automation and ability we have with speaker management. It's a one-stop shop for all of the people roles associated with your meetings, webinars, enduring, etc. Our clients use this module in so many ways. Speaker management can be used in conjunction with disclosure management system or with the handout management system or used by itself. Everything uploaded by the speaker can be available in our API for your vendors or connected to our attendee portal for either a live or virtual meeting. Each person in the speaker portal only sees what they need to see and will only upload what is needed for the role they are for any specific session. It is so easy for everyone. I could actually talk for 30 minutes just on the unique features of speaker management system and how amazing it is for your organization, how much time it will save you and your team. But I believe my time is up. But I will do my best to add more information to our Planstone solution page so that you can have more at your fingertips. I will also add information on our attendee portal where attendees can take tests, evaluate, claim credit, download a handout, watch a presentation, visit the exhibitor gallery, and see and hear posters, and chat with speakers, exhibitors, and poster presenters. And you could always call me. Dawn@planstone.com is my email. Thank you very much for listening today.
Great, thanks, Dawn. Hey, I have a question for you. So you talk about Planstone working with your team every step of the way. My question is, do I need Planstone to do everything for me, or can I edit and control things in the software without assistance?
Oh, you could do everything yourself. We moved everything to be on user screen. So there's a setup tab, and you could create your forms. You have complete control of turning your abstract call on, off, your reviewers on and off. You update all your pages. It's all customizable. Your language is used. You upload any attachment documents, artwork, everything. It's all in your hands. The first year, we like to really go through with you because it's just so, it's highly configurable. So it's not your job to learn everything our software can do. It's our job to learn your process and show how our software can complement it. So that's kind of why I talk more about that this for a new client.
Great. All right, well, thanks so much, Dawn. I appreciate your presentation, and we will move to Jeffrey and Dave from Aptify.
All right, guys. A couple minutes
great.
early. I'm coming in with my PowerPoint here, and I'm going to share my screen.
All right.
Give me a sec.
Great. So Jeffrey and Dave are going to talk to us about their market leading and configurable AMS solution.
All right.
Great. Perfect.
Yep.
Thanks a lot, Sherry. Yeah, appreciate it. So again, yeah, we're going to take a look at the Aptify Association Management Suite to see how associations like yours can better engage members, drive revenue, and ensure operational success. And yes, my name is Jeff Batchelor, and I'm the Director of Enterprise Sales with Aptify. And with me is Dave O'Connell, who's the Director of Client Services and Training. And we're going to be the ones walking through Aptify today. So at Aptify, we tend to work with mid to large membership organizations that value flexibility and configurability. Aptify provides additional control over the AMS in terms of ongoing development work. And if there's ever a new business need that's thrown at you, you can easily adjust the system to accommodate that new or altered business need without any worry, and all while maintaining that ever important upgrade path. We're much more than a CRM. Aptify enables associations to have both an enterprise membership solution and a flexible development platform, enabling a high degree of configurability for those organizations that need a system that can be specifically tailored to their requirements. So it gives you that ultimate flexibility, that full data transparency, and scales as your organization grows. A few of our clients include the American Dental Association, Lions Club International, American College of Surgeons, the LPGA, and the Catholic Health Association of the United States. As an enterprise AMS with deep functionality across dozens of key business functions, Aptify has 21 core applications available. And while most enterprise products on the market have a configuration toolkit, which only allows simple changes to workflows and data structures, the key with Aptify is that underneath it all, it's built on an extremely flexible development platform. And that's what truly sets us apart from many of the other products in the AMS space. So in addition to the out-of-the-box modules, you can build entirely new modules based on your association's needs. So Aptify goes beyond just simple data structure changes or simple configurations and truly enables deep configurations and application development, again, all while maintaining that upgrade path. And with that brief introduction, I'm going to hand it over to Dave for a quick glimpse of the Aptify system.
All right, guys, thanks very much for your attention. I'm going to go ahead and switch over to Aptify Web. I'm going to take you through two aspects of Aptify. I'm going to show you our e-business portal, okay? And then I'm going to go ahead and take you through our association management software that interacts with that portal on behalf of the members. All right, so let's start off with looking at Amy Baldwin. Now, Amy is a she's a lawyer that is in a New Jersey law firm, and I'm going to take you through how she interacts with the system to see the information that she needs to get to for both herself and her firm, because she's actually the administrator of her firm. Now, Amy's decided she's going to do 4 things today. She's going to go ahead and buy a book. She is going to register for a meeting, and she is going to look at both her colleagues' certifications and their memberships. So let me start off by taking you into our products. So Amy decides she's going to browse the product catalog. In the product catalog, she's decided that she's going to take a look at the books that are available. And in looking at them, she decides that the history of tort law sounds pretty fascinating. But she's going to take a closer look at it before she purchases it. So she goes ahead and clicks on the actual link there. And what comes up is the history of tort law. Now, probably could have had a little more of a product description here, but she decides that she really likes this, and she goes ahead and adds it to her cart. But Amy decides she's not shopping yet. She's not done shopping yet. She wants to take a look and see what the upcoming meetings are for the association. So she clicks on the meeting tab here at the top. In the meeting tab, she sees a series of 5, 6 different meetings that she can attend. She decides she might be interested in this New Jersey State Bar Association annual meeting, but something is telling her maybe she registered for that. And when she clicks on it, it comes up. In fact, she does in fact see that she has been registered for it. So she decides to scroll down a little bit and sees that as the administrator of the law firm that she belongs to, she could in fact register another person from her association or from her law firm, or she could register her entire group. And in fact, if she clicks on register group, she'll actually only come up with the 4 people that have not registered for this particular meeting. So it automatically filters out the people that have already been registered for it. At this point, she decides maybe she'll take care of that later. And she goes back up and decides she's going to register herself for a meeting that she is in fact not registered for. So she goes back up to the 2021 New Jersey Criminal Law Update. When she clicks on that, she sees that she's got no registration, and she can clearly see where it's being held. Hopefully it won't be virtual in a little while. And she can also tell that she gets up to 4.2 credits for attending. When she looks down below, she can see the speakers that are registered to speak at this session. And if she looks down even further, what's interesting is she can see a threaded view of a discussion about anything related to the meeting, in which case somebody's asked if there are any discounts, but nobody's replied yet, unfortunately. At this point, she decides, I am going to register for this. But she decides to register as an individual. She's not going to register the other members of her group. Her information automatically comes in, at which point she could update it, and she can actually update her badge information as well. And there could be more fields included here as what you want. So she says, okay, I'm going to go ahead and add myself as an attendee. It confirms that she's been added as attendee, and she proceeds to the checkout. Now, at this point, Amy's going to go ahead and buy the book and the criminal law update. But when she looks at the top, she sees that in fact she can make a donation if she wants to, and this can be set up on your AMS. She decides, I'll give some money to the Law Scholarship Fund, and she puts in $50. I said, she doesn't seem to want me to put a 50 in there unless I check the box, of course. So she puts in her $50, she adds it to the cart, then that gets added to the order, and then she simply proceeds to checkout. Now, if she did have a coupon code, she could put that in up here and apply it for any kind of discount. Doesn't have a coupon, proceeds to her checkout, takes a look around, makes sure she confirms all her address information for her bill to her ship to, and proceeds to her payment. And when she proceeds to the payment, okay, she looks down below. She's got some safe credit card payments like we all do these days, okay? She puts in her CVSV number. She can actually bill me later because she has the ability to do that, but she's going to go ahead and pay now, and she places her order. And when she places her order, the system spins through, and it comes up with a nice receipt, order confirmation invoice, however you want to say it. And then she can also email it to herself. Now, she should have automatically received a receipt as a result of the way the system works, but you could in fact email an extra one or black out whoever's in here, herself in this case, and send it to somebody else, maybe her accounting department. At this point, Amy knows that she's the administrator of the group, so she figures while she's out here, she might as well check on a few things about how her firm's doing. So she goes up and she clicks on Manage Group, and she goes to Membership Management and decides to check on how people's certifications are doing. A law firm gets discounts based on how many certification, continuing education credits they get. And as she looks, you see that some people have quite a few and some people are not doing as well. But maybe she realizes that Charles Cross actually has some additional CFE that he could submit, and she could submit it on behalf of him. So she clicks on Submit New FE, New CFE. Maybe she's got some information that she can put in here about when he took a class or a course or attended a meeting. And it might be outside the scope of Aptify. It might be coming in through an API, or she can just put it in manually. In which case, when she submits it, a staff member will receive it, review it, and make sure they get the credits if they qualify. At this point, she's going to take a closer look at the membership itself. So she goes back up, floats over membership management, and you'll notice she's got the option to add new people as well as the administrator, but she looks at the company directory instead. When she looks at the company directory, she gets all the members of the law firm, scrolling down as well. What's nice about this is it actually tells her that they have what membership type they have, or if they don't have membership in the case of Angelina Diaz, or if their membership is in fact expired in terms of Michael Pintero and Timothy King. Now, if she wants to rectify any of those situations, she can simply go back up to Manage Group. She can go down and she can go to Membership Management, and she could purchase memberships, in which case only Angelina Diaz would show up because she's the only one that doesn't have management. And then she could go down to renew memberships. And then clicking on Renew Memberships, you could see everybody who has a membership and go ahead and renew the 2 that are expired. At this point, that's kind of our journey through the member-facing portal. Now I'm going to switch over to Aptify Web, okay, and show you the staff side of this interface, okay? Now, as I look in here and I go into Aptify Web, and I'm just making sure I got the information from maybe they came up, including my giant picture that flashed, I can clearly see that Amy Baldwin's order came right over. Now, when I double click on Amy Baldwin's order, if I want to take a closer look at this as a staff member, I can go directly into the order. I can load all the information about the order at the top. I can scroll down and I can see the things that she actually bought or donated to in the case of the donation. And then I can get down the bottom and see the payments and summary information about what Amy paid, how she paid, and her credit card information. Now, if I go back home, I can also see right at the top here that there's a giant search button. And at this point, I want to see a little bit more about Amy. So I type in Amy Baldwin. And when I do, up comes a nice card that shows me Amy's summarized information. I can look at her title. I can look at what firm she actually represents, her email address. I can actually go into the full record, and I could generate a contact log if I wanted to, which would kind of track some interaction that we had. At this point, I just want to look at her landing page. So I click on her card and come into this nice landing page, which summarizes her information. Across the top, I can see contact information. I can see her current membership status. And if I float over dues information, I can even see her join date, her dues paid through, and the last payment date, and the total amount of the dues themselves. If I go down below that, I see a nice activity timeline, which I can sort by different activities or over different time periods to see what she's been up to in the system. I can also come over to the left-hand side and do a number of actions if I wanted to. I could send her a message if I wanted to, which would interface with Exchange if I needed it to. I could generate another order if I wanted to, okay? And go ahead and process it from the staff side. Remember the one we saw before was from her side. And then I could also add a contact log or even use a wizard to add a new membership. Now, she's already got membership, but if we had multiple memberships, I could do that. Finally, I can look at the full record because this isn't all of Amy. This is a landing page for Amy. And when I click on full record, I have a number of different options that I can go ahead and look at. And as I'm looking at the full record, if I go at the top, I can still see her information. Down below that, I can see the fact that her address, as well as looking at the multiple addresses she's had, including her home address if I need to, and primary emails and secondary emails, etc. Then I can go to different areas of her membership record that might be very interesting to me, such as company history, in which case I can see all the law firms that Amy's worked at, the different time periods she's worked there, what her title was, and what her primary function was. I can then go in and take a look at some of the things she's interested in, such as topic codes. And these were available on her side too. She can maintain these. So I can see the types of law or business that she's interested in from both a flat view and a tree view, and even investigate the possible options that she may or may not have selected. And if she calls me, I can select these on her behalf too and update them. I can also go back and look a little more detail at the membership by clicking on the membership area. Most of this is pretty much in the summary area, but I can also see if she has a company member type or a root company member type. And I can also see the areas that she wants to be excluded from. And this is an opt-out area. This can definitely be expanded to newsletters and other areas as well, but then I can include those in reports and make sure that she doesn't receive those items. As I go back out, I'm going to go ahead back home, and I'm going to show you a couple different ways of looking at Amy's law firm. Now, I could simply click on King Cross and Mann and go into the law firm itself, but instead I want to see all the people at King Cross and Mann. So I start to use another good feature of Aptify, which is called its Views service. And when I click on this Find Person's View, which I happen to have in a shortcut up here, and I type in King, because the only law firm I got that begins with King is King Cross and Mann, and click Go, I now see all the people that belong at King Cross and Mann. And then I can do some optional things like go ahead and change the fields that appear in here and do all sorts of wonderful things with these views, as well as run other views that would actually bring in the revenue for King Cross and Mann and show that as well based on the products with totals and counts and amounts of money. Finally, I can go back home and I can look at different dashboards of data even more. Now, I showed you the orders over the last 30 days, but I can easily switch this dashboard, take a look at a membership summary, see all the new memberships added this week in a bar chart. I can see members by the job role on a pie chart. And then I can come back over and look at my meeting information in a dashboard in a calendar view by way of an agenda. And I can even look at upcoming meetings, scroll down and see all the total registering counts within those. Finally, I can go down and look at membership if I need to and see some membership information, including all memberships renewed this month and all memberships expired this year. Guys, thank you very much for your attention. I know that was kind of a 100,000-foot view of Aptify, but I hope you enjoyed it, and I wish you the best of luck, and I hope to see you down the road. I don't know if we got any time for questions, Jeff, but.
We're just about out of time, and as Howard and Matt are getting set up here, my question is, what type of client is best suited for your AMS?
Yeah, thanks, Sherry. Great question. So I'd say we tend to work with mid to large associations or organizations that really desire configurability. As that was seen in the brief demonstration that Dave showed, there's lots that can be customized and configured within the system to make the views exactly what you need, to make the output exactly what you want to see. And so for those organizations that want that flexibility, that want that configurability, and again, they tend to be, mid-sized to larger size associations, those are who we work with, and those are the ones that have the staff to be able to see and leverage a system like ours.
Sure. Okay. Well, great. Thanks so much, you guys. And hello to Howard and Matt. Now you're going to tell us a little bit about NetForum.
Good afternoon, Sherry and everybody at .org Source and .org community. We greatly appreciate the opportunity to partner with you guys today and show you a demo of NetForum Enterprise. Matt, if you'll share your screen.
Sure. I think, Dave, if you could unshare.
Stop sharing.
You can share over, Matt.
Unshare. Oh, I can?
Yep, go for it.
I'm that cool. All right, hang on.
As we're waiting for Matt to bring that up, I'll take a few seconds to just introduce myself. My name is Howard Pollack. I am in enterprise sales at Community Brands and have been working with NetForum Enterprise now for 2 decades. Matt, who is a senior solutions engineer, is, I don't think he's been around as long as I have, but he's been around a long time working on NetForum Enterprise and a lot of other products. So again, we're proud to be here today, and we'll be brief in our introductory comments so that we can get into the live demo. Matt, go ahead to the next slide. So we truly believe that NetForum is really the last AMS your organization will ever need. We have many clients. There's currently over 225 association clients on NetForum Enterprise today, and the average life cycle of those is 10+ years. We've got some organizations that have been on over 15 years, approaching 20 years. So as far as an ROI is concerned, you're going to get it out of NetForum Enterprise. We've got a 97% CSAT, customer support satisfaction, and we've been doing this with NetForum now for over 20 years. I'm very proud of that, and that this product has had a great run rate, and we're actively implementing new products, new NetForum Enterprise solutions every year. Next slide now. So a couple of key things to take away from NetForum. There are over 30 modules that come out of the box. We license by named user, not by module. So you get all the modules, whether you use them or not. You can actually grow into the system. We were voted in 2018 the #1 in customer satisfaction. We strive hard to continue to earn those achievements and honors, and we get great feedback from all of our clients. NetForum is also very strong at reporting and analytics. We'll take a brief look at some of those today, but really it's so important to be able to get data out in a meaningful fashion and be able to make some business decisions based on the analytics that are part of NetForum Enterprise. Next slide, Matt. So because we've been around a long time, this actually makes my heart smile. We have some new/old people that have joined the family again. Some of you may recognize these names, Tim Ward and Rob Miller. Tim Ward was actually the original co-developer of NetForum Enterprise many years ago, and went off to create his own company with Rob Miller called Gravitate Solutions. They are now back in the fold. Community Brands acquired Gravitate Solutions in December of last year. And now Tim and Rob are both part of the management team that'll be driving strategy, mission, and vision for NetForum Enterprise and the delivery of the product. So we are super proud to have them back on board and looking forward to their contributions. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Matt to do a live demo.
Okay, thanks, Howard. I appreciate it. And hi, everyone. My name is Matt, and my goal in this short time allotted is to show you one of the reasons why NetForum has been ranked so highly among users in terms of satisfaction. And so one of the reasons that people love NetForum is because it makes it simple to deliver relevant content to your members. And one way we do that is through implied interest codes. And so let me show you how that works in NetForum. This is NetForum. This is the staff view side, and here we see a member, Aaron Adams, and from his record, I can see really anything he's done in the organization, whether it's events he's registered for, committees he's on, so forth. And then just to kind of distinguish this right away, let me go to another part of the system easily. This kind of show you the navigation, how easy this is. We have favorites. So the idea, if I'm working on an event and I want to get to that event quickly, I don't have to do a real in-depth search for that because I have it as a favorite. I can get over there really quickly. And so I'm going to use this event and Aaron, who's going to register for this event, to illustrate how this works. And for the sake of brevity for our time today, I actually made this as a free event. Of course, NetForum it can have prices, member, non-member, date-based pricing, all of that. For our purposes today, I added a event interest code. And so the event title here, Robotics Aerial Vehicle Controls, sounds like an interesting event, right? But I've added this interest code called robotics to that. And just know that you can add any number of interest codes. Maybe also because this is a technical workshop, it might be important to say, you know what, anybody who registers for this is also apparently interested to some degree in technical workshops. So I can add that too, and now that's tagged on there too. This becomes really nice when you go to search for people who have that same interest. All right. Let's take a look at this back on Adam's record. And note here, I'm using my recent contacts. So another thing the NetForum will do is make it easy to navigate to records that you've been to previously. I'm going to switch back to Aaron's record. And just before we have him register, if I look on his tab here, I can see that he does have several interest codes in the system. So he's interested in volunteering and advocacy. Of course, those will come in handy when I'm looking to fill the seats on the next committee. I can run queries on that and find him. that'll start that list. But we don't see an interest in robotics. And so just take note of that. As it turns out, Aaron does have an interest in robotics. So let me now switch hats. We're going to take on the member view. And this is a sample site from NetForum for the member-facing view. We see Aaron logged in, and he can do a number of things here, updating his personal information, renewing his membership, viewing chapters, committees, so forth. But on this particular day, from the home page, he sees an event that catches his eye, and he sees this robotics aerial vehicle controls. It's a free event. He's going to check that out. And this looks really cool. I'm open that date. Let's do this. So he decides to register. And like I said, in this case, just for brevity, I made it as a free event, but just know that, of course, this is during this process, this is where NetForum would typically ask for credit card information, and we would process that. All right. Okay, so I get a thank you, and now that's done. And now I can see, well, okay, so this member behavior, and anytime your members do something, right, it tells a little bit about them, and it tells a little bit about their interests. And so from the staff view, we're going to get to see that. Of course, from his events tab, we can now see that he is registered. In fact, this time I've done it twice there. But we can also see that from this tab, hang on one second here. We can also see that the system put in an interest code of robotics. And so perhaps there are a number of different events that he could have gleaned that interest code from. And now it makes it very easy to query those members or even non-members. Sometimes that's the better approach. That's the more strategic approach. Which non-members are interested in these topics, right? Because now you can say, hey, non-members, did you know that when you're in membership, you can do X, Y, Z with this topic? And so it kind of pulls them in. But that's great information, very valuable information that we can get from them. And you might be thinking, okay, so interest codes. Every system doesn't do something with interest codes, and that's probably true. But one of the things that distinguishes NetForum, makes it a little bit different, is this idea of implied interests. So you can see here the implicit checkbox here. What that tells me is that Aaron didn't go in and check a box and say, yeah, okay, these are the things that I'm interested in. Sometimes you can get members to do that, but I tell you what, if you wait around for every member to fill out exactly what they're interested in, it's not going to happen, right? You're not going to have all that rich data. It's better to say, what is their behavior, right? And so this implies an interest in that. So again, what can we do with that? We can query on it. Let me show you one more way that's very helpful, and I think it's just super intelligent the way that NetForum can handle this type of tracking in terms of member behavior. So let me put on the member hat again. I'm going to go out to the website, and I set up a couple news articles. Actually, just real quick here, we saw that he's got these interests. Notice he doesn't have an interest in ocular implants, let's say, because that's apparently something he's not interested in. But he is curious about the topic, and so he clicks on that article. And perhaps he reads that and maybe even references it to another member, let's say. When that happens, I have this set up that just by viewing that article, he gets an interest code in that, right, based on that topic. Now, here's where this comes into play. Is just viewing an article the same type of interest that attending an event would be? No. That's why we have this idea of intensity. And so this is the way we can throttle this, engage this to see, all right, how much interest do they have in this topic? And well, let's say that Aaron actually was very interested in that. In fact, brought it up in another conversation. And so he actually goes back to reference that. And if I go back to that, perhaps, or maybe shares it with a friend. Now, notice the intensity is 2 now. And every time I would go back and refresh this screen, essentially it's him as long as he's logged in there looking at it. Now it's bumping up, right? So this is cool. Now we can tell the difference between somebody who is mildly interested in something or just attended something or clicked on a link from somebody who's really interested in it. And what you can do is that starts to build that intelligence, right? So here's the key. I can query everyone who's interested in robotics. Let me just kind of take this full circle. So if I go to the query tool, I have a query set up to gauge, to show everyone who's interested in a certain topic. So I can choose the interest codes. I can choose the intensity. So here I'm going to say everyone with that topic, intensity greater than 2. And I get a small list here because, and I guess that one didn't have that intensity on it. But suffice to say that now I can take action on this, right? So I can say, maybe I want to communicate to these people, let them know something's coming up. I can send out an email right from that. Just a very easy way to delineate who's doing what, right? So this type of data, very valuable once it's captured, and it leads to more targeted communication with members, and it leads to better responses. I mean, that's the bottom line. So I was, this is a short scenario, and that's basically it. But I wanted to say, I was talking to someone about this exact scenario, and they said, hey, isn't that an example of artificial intelligence? And I'm actually not sure if it adheres to the formal definition of AI, but I will say it's definitely an example of NetForum learning about your members on its own, and then helping you take intelligent action based on that. So there's a lot more to it, but I just wanted to show you that quick scenario, and hope to whet your appetite for more. Sherry, I'll turn it back over to you, I guess.
Great.
Are there other questions? Yeah.
Thank you. So I'm going to ask you guys, let's see. I'm going to ask you guys the same question. Maybe that's a question for Howard. I guess, what is your ideal kind of customer for NetForum?
Thanks, Sherry. So NetForum scales up and down. So we've got clients that are as small as, say, 10 staff, and then we've got clients that have 350 to 400 staff and larger. So again, we've got the system is intuitive, as Matt showed you today. There is a toolkit that we license to groups that have the proper infrastructure to do that. We give full training on that. So we actually give you guys the keys to the car to enhance the system while not taking you off the upgrade path, which is super important. So really the answer is any organization. I would say, our sweet spot, probably clients that if you were to look at the 225 and try to figure out a trend, they're probably somewhere in the 25 to 75 staff range. And I know that's kind of a big range, but yeah, that's probably where the majority of our clients are. And then we've got some outliers that are in the tens of staff and outliers that are in the hundreds of staff.
Yeah, and so when you're talking about the lower end, you're not talking about a system that needs a lot of IT staff support?
Correct. And one of the services we offer, Sherry, is something called VA, or Virtual Administrator. So you can engage with us to have somebody at Community Brands and NetForum Enterprise to actually do certain IT functions for you on a daily, weekly basis. We give you full training on that, so we empower your end users. But if there is a need for some assistance, we can provide that to you at very affordable rates as well.
That's terrific. So, because I know we have a lot of customers who don't have that sort of IT staff or support, or looking at other options. So great. Well, thank you so much for the demo, Matt, and thanks, Howard. And I will now say hello to Jeff. How's it going there, Jeff? And Jeff's going to show us a little bit about Salesforce and Nimble AMS.
Okay, sorry, I had to unmute myself. So thanks so much. I appreciate that, Sherry. And thank you for inviting us to Solutions in Action. And I'm here this afternoon to talk about all things Nimble AMS and Salesforce. And my name is Jeff Golumbieski, or Jeff G for short. I'm the Vice President of Sales Engineering at Community Brands. And I've been fortunate to be in the association industry for almost 30 years now. During that time, I've worn many hats. I've worked for an association. I've implemented AMS solutions. I've been part of our Nimble AMS product management team developing cool and innovative features for Nimble AMS. And now with sales engineering, I'm helping organizations like yours look for new technology tools to streamline, optimize, and really digitally transform your association. So to get started, who are we? How does Nimble AMS and Community Brands fit together? So Nimble AMS is part of the Community Brands family, and Community Brands has created this complete universe of industry-leading cloud-based software dedicated to associations. We have products for event technology, learning management, careers that are all complementary to your membership solutions. Interrelated products to enhance your constituents' member journey with your association. But Nimble AMS is unique and positioned like no other AMS in the market today. Our customers get to leverage that entire suite of association products from Community Brands, as well as they get to build upon that with the entire Salesforce ecosystem. So Nimble AMS, across the bottom, you can see the Salesforce platform. That's where we can leverage the Salesforce CRM for account management, take report building, mobile, automations, AI, and more. In the middle, you see that we've added elements to Salesforce that are needed for an enterprise level association: rock solid accounting, innovative membership, certification, fundraising. To the left and to the right, you see that we even build upon that further. So you can see on the right side, we have things like Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, Marketing Cloud, all from Salesforce. On the left, we have the Salesforce App Store, where there are over 5,000 apps available to extend even further. With Community Brands and Salesforce, everything they offer, your association will be able to do anything within Nimble AMS. So one of the top reasons people select Nimble AMS is Salesforce itself. I was in a demo recently where the association stated, "We're just terrible at CRM." And I can understand that. Legacy and proprietary AMS solutions, they never even had CRM at the heart of the AMS. More and more associations are recognizing the importance of having that super strong customer relationship management capability at the center. And our North Star is Salesforce. So with the #1 selling CRM in the world, Salesforce, we've tuned it specifically for you, for an association. With easy to use staff interface, where everything is centralized, we have pre-built homepages to highlight KPIs, easy task and activity management, tools to collaborate with your coworkers directly on the records in question in the AMS. Nimble AMS comes with a suite of purpose-built apps that are based on departments or areas of focus, apps for accounting, membership, events. And bringing that all together, these tools allow you to also create your own apps if needed to assemble functions to run your association. Using the Salesforce CRM global search, navigating and finding records in Nimble AMS is easy as using Google. So you can search on anything, and I mean anything in Nimble AMS: a person's name, a company name, a street address, an invoice number, a check number, a keyword. You can find any of that data in Nimble AMS easily. And one of my absolute favorites, pun intended, you can favorite anything in Nimble AMS. Your most used reports or dashboards, accounts that you go to most often, committees you manage. You can favorite anything for quick, easy access. And of course, with every, a CRM, everything needs to be beautiful and easy to read. And you can see that on these account pages, a 360 view of your member and constituent. In this example, I'm actually looking at an individual member, and across the top, that headlines panel, you can see everything you need to know about that person: their name, who they work for, if they're a member, what type of member, how engaged are they a donor? The rest of the page gives you the added details about their member journey, quick links to everything in their history, and any sort of demographics you need to track about that member. And again, keep in mind, this entire page can be configured to show you the most important information about your member. So we saw an individual. Now let's look at an organization or company account. You'll notice similar layout. Key and critical information in that headlines panel at the top, easy to view historical records that are linked to them, and any sort of demographics. On the right, you can also see an easy view roster of the company branches, locations, and a listing of individuals working for that company. And using all of the tools available to you in Salesforce CRM, you also have easy access to activity tracking. It's the best in any AMS. Quick actions to log a call, send an email, create a task to follow up, and more. And I actually love to see how easy it is to see it visually. You have a timeline in the lower right corner. It shows you now, upcoming, and that timeline of historical past activities that you've had. And of course, a modern AMS would not be complete with full mobile access. Access of your AMS data, even reports and dashboards anywhere at any time, just using a simple app on any device. With Nimble AMS e-commerce, you just don't get account management like a traditional product catalog even. You get a beautiful point-and-click created CMS-style microsite to bring focus and attention to the products and programs you want to showcase, and ultimately get more online engagement, such as in this educational fund microsite for the foundation. Or maybe you want to bring that extra sizzle to your annual meeting and registration experience, blending point-and-click created CMS content with your online AMS products, offering, and e-commerce. In this example, one of our clients, Mass Dental Society, they created a microsite for their big annual meeting and exposition. The site is super complementary to their overall website look and feel, but it's still unique to this specific event and that event branding. The microsite brings in that configuration to a preset filtered list of products that are complementary to the mission and goal of just that microsite. So modern e-commerce. Now, building upon this modern Salesforce CRM platform, it allows us to take a completely different approach to upgrades. We hear it over and over again when it comes to this upgrade approach. Many of the other AMS offerings, they've left you behind. Upgrades are painful. And that's because their approach to upgrades are old school and antiquated. Customers on all different versions of the software, you had to do upgrades yourself, or you had to pay the vendor big bucks to do the upgrade for you. And let's not even go down the path of risks, being down for days, weeks, or things broke. So what do you think most associations did? They did nothing. Right after this conference, this session, I'm jumping on a demo with an association that implemented their legacy AMS in 2003. And guess when they did their last upgrade? 2015. Can you believe that? That's 6 years and counting of no upgrades, no innovation. So that's not how technology works today. Modern association management software only has one version, just like other software that you're using day in and day out. Gmail, Google, Twitter, Facebook. Every customer is on the same version, the latest version. And for your association, you always want to be on the current version to take advantage of that innovative technology. With Nimble AMS and Salesforce, your association will never be left behind again. And another top reason people love Nimble AMS, this is my final point here, business intelligence. We hear it over and over again from people. Reporting and business intelligence is a critical business issue that they have with the association, and it's a struggle with them today. They know their data is there somewhere. They just have limited powers and ability to get it out and make it meaningful. So Nimble AMS gives you access to all of Salesforce's powerful reporting tools. Nimble AMS comes standard with hundreds of pre-built list view queries, reports, and dashboards. In this example, I have a simple query. I have a list of an event's registrations. But you heard me say a minute ago, meaningful reporting. The queries not only present the data that you're filtering on, but you also have the ability to do inline editing. So in this example, I have a list of attendee registrations. I can do inline editing to easily update who attended, maybe who didn't show up. And then to make it even more powerful, I can select multiple records, update them all at once. This sort of meaningful reporting and added functionality just does not exist in legacy AMS products. Reports, just as awesome. Clear results, but what's unique is they come with active links to bring you to the records that you may have to take action on. In this event registration LIBONT report, we're using a simple Salesforce tool. It's called a cross filter. Show me everybody that registered for last year's annual meeting, but they're currently not registered for this year's. And now I have a segmented list I can use in my email marketing. And of course, we can pull all of your data together with clear and easy to understand KPIs and dashboards. In this example, we have a dashboard that's comparing member retention year over year, budget to goal, actionable insights to achieve your association's goals and missions. Speaking of actionable insights, you do have a ton of awesome data in your AMS. And wouldn't it be nice if your AMS could take that data and use it to predict the future? Using artificial intelligence functionality built into Salesforce, you have that power. Flagging members that are at risk of not renewing, highlighting members that are great candidates for joining your certification program or buying other products, giving you insights of members that may want to volunteer. In this example, we have a list of annual meeting registrations, and we want to understand who may not show up based on historical data in the AMS. Nimble AMS is leveraging Salesforce's point-and-click wizard called Einstein Prediction Builder. It lets you craft predictions based on your data. It's a step-by-step process where you are predicting information to help you move the association forward. And you can bring that focus to any area in your AMS. With this wizard at the end, you get a report card on the prediction quality where you can refine it to meet your specific needs. Nimble AMS comes standard with pre-built predictions out of the box. You can clone them, make your own using this prediction builder. And that prediction data gives you visibility. You can report on it. You can leverage it in any of your automations. You can incorporate it into your email marketing campaigns. And in this case, you have a prediction that tells you which members are at risk and that may not be renewing. And you may want to make that visible so the staff can know who is at risk. And talk about empowering the staff with this knowledge. For those at-risk members, we can dynamically guide the staff with recommendations. Next best action, to take action based on that prediction, empowering the staff with the options and skills to really retain that member. And can your association do that today? Can they give you those insights? We have a really wonderful case study from the Marine Corps Association and Foundation where they've been able to leverage that prediction data to highlight those at-risk members and boost their membership retention by over 25%. I'll share that case study in the chat in just a minute. And with that, I think that's about all the time I have. So if there are any questions.
Hey, Jeff. Thanks for the presentation. That's great. We do have a couple questions. So in the next minute, I'm going to have you answer these really quickly here. Are the Nimble pages customizable by staff or just the vendor?
100% by staff. All empowered. They can tune it to how they want it to be. Point and click.
Great. And then where does Salesforce end and Nimble start? Is there a lot of overlap? That was a good question.
There is a lot of overlap because obviously Salesforce has spent billions of dollars on UI functionality. So obviously they're brilliant at that. So we leverage it, but we tune it for associations. So you may have a common account record layout, and we're going to put in the most optimal ways association data, but it is very much a blending of that.
Great. And last question is, I've got to ask the same question because I asked the others, is what does your best fit customer look like?
We're split pretty much 50-50 on professional and trade. So we work well in both of those kind of models. And from a staff size, we have clients as small as 10 staff, and then we have some that are over 100. I would say our sweet spot, I personally love to work with groups in that kind of 25 to 50 because I think they can lean in on new and innovation, and yet they're large enough that they can maybe build on automations and do so many things like that.
Great. Terrific. Well, thanks so much, Jeff. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And last up here, we've got Greg with Association Analytics, predicting member retention using your data. So this is an exciting topic to end the day with. So I appreciate it, Greg. And thanks to everybody who stayed on time. Yesterday, we didn't do as good of a job. So I appreciate all of you keeping us on track today. So take it away, Greg.
Thanks, Sherry. And thanks everyone for inviting me to present today. I'm excited. I think this is my first time at one of your events. So I'm excited to meet everybody and present. When picking a topic, I thought 15 minutes, let's tackle something really easy to talk about, like predictive analytic models. So I'm going to try and cover this for you, give you the groundwork on how we do all this, and walk you through what a predictive analytic model might look like for you. But more importantly, talk to you about how you're going to leverage that data to make better decisions in your organization. Little background on myself. I've been working with and for associations my entire career. I started working at an association and transitioned over to the vendor side. I've been at a few different solution providers. And fun fact, in my free time, I pretend to be a race car driver. Let's talk about that later. Who is Association Analytics? We are a firm dedicated specifically for one thing and being the best at it, is providing associations deep understanding of the data they own using advanced analytic techniques. And as a company, we've been around for 20 years helping associations with their technology needs. Our platform I'm going to walk you through today is called Acumen. It is a visualization solution that helps you understand your data and tells a story with the data that you have. But we understand that success with analytics is a lot more than just a platform. It includes things like data governance, helping you understand the quality of your data. Can you trust your data? It includes things like data strategy. Once you understand your data, what are the things you're missing? What are the things you have or don't have that are going to help you be successful with analytics? And it involves a lot of staff support. Most of us didn't grow up using advanced analytics. This is a new technology we have to learn. And we spend a lot of time with our customers, helping them understand how to use the visualizations, how to interpret the data, but most importantly, how to make better data-informed decisions, leveraging all those insights they're getting from the tool. Now, the challenge is associations have a lot of data, right? A lot of data. And a lot of that data is scattered around your ecosystem. And maybe we're writing some of the line level data back to our AMS, but the full rich flavor of all that data tends to be left in some of these source systems. Imagine every conversation ever had in your online community, every link that I've clicked on in every email you've ever sent, the survey results from that last course I took in the LMS, all of that rich data we need to capture in one specific place. And the second challenge with our data is it's not just the transactional data that we own we want to look at. Up to 70% of your data is typically what's referred to as unstructured data. These are your community posts, your social media, the results from that survey at your last annual conference. It's things that don't really fit well into Microsoft Excel, right? Think about that as unstructured data. And a lot of people call this dark data because it's hard to get insights from that data from our traditional reporting solutions. Visual reporting can't really break that information down. We need an analytics solution to help understand that data. If this was easy, why haven't we all done it? It's because this is hard stuff. There's a lot of things we need to understand, like data governance and data privacy. Is our data clean enough? Are we spending a lot of time building manual reports? How do I even leverage a solution like this? All of those challenges are what we help you solve. So our goal here is to help you make better predictions faster, leveraging our platform Acumen and the solutions and services we've wrapped around that platform to help enable your success. But let's get to the topic I chose. What is predictive analytics? I asked our data scientists to provide me a basic definition of predictive analytics, and I got back two fairly long answers. So predictive analytics is a term commonly used to describe advanced analytic methodologies. I'm already lost. What is predictive analytics is very simple, using past behavior to predict future actions. Very simple. How do we use past behavior to determine future actions? We use a couple pieces in our toolkit. We're going to talk about a couple of these. We're going to go over a propensity model. We're going to look at a market basket analysis. We're not going to talk about as many of these things like sentiment or decision trees. We're going to talk about clustering, but all of these things are in your toolkit, are going to lead you to the answers you're looking for. Now, let me walk you through a couple of these because they sound really confusing, but when you get down to them, they're fairly easy to understand. What is a market basket analysis? Imagine you're at the shopping center and you're putting items in your shopping cart and you come out to the checkout. How do I understand the grouping and the connections between these? And if I'm really a good shopping person, how do I understand what you're missing? So if I see that you have margarita mix and Tostitos and fajita chips in your basket, I might recommend that you also get the queso because I can logically connect all these things together in my mind and figure out that you're having a party and these are the items you need and this is how they connect. Now, if that's really easy to do in the physical world with an actual shopping cart, how do we do that in the virtual world with all of the products and services you sell? This is an analysis one of our customers did on all the courses in their LMS. It's not so easy to figure out what the first course is and the next course and the natural bundles and the progression. I can't just eyeball that or do back of the envelope math. I need an analytics platform to help me come up with those answers. And in this case, they were able to actually streamline the purchasing of LMS courses. They were able to determine the next course someone's most likely to buy. And they were able to even determine the interval on how long it might take a person to get to that next course based on previous behavior. All right, so I've got the toolkit. This sounds really exciting. What do I even do with any of this stuff? If you're in marketing and sales, you need to understand, like, where do I spend my next marketing dollar? What is the best possible cross-sell or upsell? If I'm in membership, it's all about understanding churn. Which members are likely to renew or not renew? We're going to focus on that today. If it's events, which members are most likely to attend my event? Where should I even have my event? How much are they willing to spend on the event? What are the topics, the session topics we should have at that event that are people most likely to engage in? And if we're in finance, how do we improve the accuracy of our forecasts? What is the optimal pricing or bundling or packaging for this specific product we're selling? What if we want to move away from a membership-based model to an a la carte model? Are we going to lose our shirt on this if we give membership away for free and charge members for products and services that are relevant to them? Or are we going to make more money and engage more of our potential audience out there? The answers are in analytics. So let's put a predictive analytic model into action. The first thing we need to identify are what are called candidate variables. Some people call these candidate predictors. The idea is I can establish, based on historical data and behavior, a positive or a negative correlation. If members have or do these certain things, some of them are going to be demographics, some of them are going to be behaviors, there is a positive effect on renewals and retention. And if members have or do these things, there's a negative impact on member retention. And what are these things going to be? How many years have you been a member? Did you come to my annual meeting? Do you log into my community and post? If I send an email, are you likely to open it? Are we missing information on you? Have we not heard from you in several months? What's your average order history over the last year? All of these are the candidate variables. The question is, what is the relevancy they have and how do they impact this specific model for you? And then when we build the model, data scientists love to put things into deciles. We're going to look at these. It's 10 buckets. Each one of these is a bucket of members. Some of them are significantly more likely to renew. Some of them are specifically less likely to renew. And as my visualization here hints to, we want to focus on the people in the middle, the changeables, the people we are most likely to affect with our marketing, with our information, with our sales tactics we're going to use on them to get them to renew. The question is, how do we identify them? How do we identify who has or hasn't done those things? And then how do we take a smart action to affect that and get the biggest bang for our buck there? So we're going to look at one specific example. I'm looking to predict the likelihood of any given member to specifically renew or not. I want to understand the highest factors that indicate likelihood of churn. I want to understand which segments are likely to churn or not churn. And I want to take appropriate action on each one of those segments. All right, I'm going to do something bold and daring. We're going to show live software today. If something goes wrong, it's live software. So we're looking at Acumen here. Some of the foundational pieces need to be there. So we need to understand who are the members? How many do you have? How do those members change over time? We need to understand member churn. When are people joining, leaving? We need to understand not just retention, but we need to break that retention down based on meaningful things like member type. Understand when do members renew, who's renewing on time, who's renewing late. We need to understand the DNA of the member. Who are they? Their job function, their age, their title, their location. We need to start understanding the behaviors of those members. What have they purchased from you in the past? What are the types of things they've done with you? We need to further break down all of the behavior because they're leaving footprints in all those systems we talked about. So we need to understand, what are they opening and clicking from our emails? If they're logging into our community, what are they doing? When they're in our community, what are they talking about? And we need to put all those pieces together, and we call this engagement scoring, to provide a full 360-degree view of that specific member, getting to an individual profile where we can start to leverage all this stuff. Because if we're going to use all these details as candidate variables, we need to understand all of them and how they're all going to fit and impact this model. And then we get to the good stuff, the model. This is a model that's predicting the likelihood of any given member to renew. If we look at the specific model, what it's going to do is it's going to go back in time and it's going to run all of these different candidate variables through the model to see which one of them make it based on your data and what's the different weighting for that. So we look at typically the past 3 to 5 years of your data, and we go, who are the members who did renew and who are the members who didn't renew? What were the demographics and behaviors of those members? What were the footprints they left in the sand on their way to a renewal journey and on their way to a non-renewal journey? And then we break up those candidate variables into different buckets and we assign weight on them, again, based on what the model has told us. There's a lot of math and data science going on in the background here. The good news is you don't have to understand the math and the data science. All you have to worry about is the output of those answers. Each one of these bars is a bucket of members. So let me ask a really easy question. If members in this bucket, and the good news is this bucket has about 4,800, 4,900 members, these members are 85% likely to renew. But members down here in this bucket are only 15% likely to renew. And the bummer is there's 4,800 of them. Not very good. If you knew this information, would you enroll both segments in the same renewal campaign and expect them to behave differently or the same? Like, that doesn't make any sense. But we don't have this information at our fingertips, so that's what we end up doing. Some real easy things to think about. These members over here do not need the discount code. They are going to be renewing. I don't need to offer them any sort of discount or money off. Members down here, unfortunately, they're not going to be renewing at a high rate. I don't need to send them that glossy brochure I just printed that costs extra postage, that's in that really fat envelope that you send to them. It's not necessarily worth my next marketing dollar to focus on them. Again, we need to focus on these people in the middle, and we're running low on time, so we don't have time to dive into everything. But this is where having an analytics platform with drill throughs and interactivity and filter panels comes in handy, because what I want to know is, tell me who these people are. Tell me the breakdown of these people. Tell me more about them, because what I want to do is focus my efforts on those people in the middle who were most likely to change. So I talked about a lot of things there. The key understandings of what we're offering is our platform acumen, which you see behind me, is leveraging all of the data you have in all of your systems in a data warehouse, data lake, putting a BI platform on top of that, and giving you answers to questions you have, like which members are going to renew or not. And just because we can predict it's likely to happen doesn't mean we need to sit back and wait. We can take action now to change what's likely to happen based on the data we now have at our fingertips. All right, let's open it up for questions. Does anybody have any questions about what I talked about, or any comments on how you could be leveraging data analytics or predictive analytics within your membership?
That's great, Greg. This is, I think, a topic that a lot of associations are struggling with analytics. It was a great presentation. If you guys have any questions, please add them in the Q&A. And I will get to those questions. So I guess, is there, Greg, are you still there?
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, there we go. I love your background too. That's really pretty cool. So I guess, what is the biggest missing piece that associations are kind of like not paying attention to today that could really help advance them? You gave a really great, I think, case study of, which members are renewing. What are some other things that people can be doing with a great analytics tool?
What a great question. This is something I struggle with, because our platform doesn't do one specific thing for an association. It allows you to leverage your data to make better decisions. So I throw that back at you. Yeah. Sherry, in your association, what are the challenges and struggles you have? what is the mission the board of directors has put together, and how are you attacking and measuring your success on that mission? And how can data help you do that? For some organizations, it's all about their membership renewals and retention rate. For some associations, it's all about understanding your major meeting that's coming up and how do you handle that. In COVID, it's all about virtualizing. If we're going to have 15 virtual meetings, what are they about? Who should I invite to those meetings? Who are my influencers that are going to help me promote those meetings on social media? It's answers to questions you're already asking, but it's data informed answers. It's leveraging business intelligence to provide you, the end user, the insight you need to make that decision.
That's great. I do have a question here. Does your platform allow for third-party purchase data to be layered onto our native data?
So I think the answer is yes. Our platform connects with all of the different systems you have data in. I mentioned a few of them today, but the concept of a data lake is you have all these little ponds full of data. We want those streams to flow into one centralized data lake. So I'm looking at every dimension I have on my members in one place.
That's great. Well, great. We appreciate you wrapping us up here today with some insights on data and how to use your product and platform. Again, if anybody has any additional questions or want to get in contact with any of the vendors, check out our Solutions Center. They're all there and have additional information. And